Hello, and thank you for joining me here today for a few thoughts from the Bible. I am here in my house in Kampala in Uganda, and I'm actually here home alone right now. My husband Dave has flown off all the way to West Africa, to Liberia, to help with some work on the plane there for Mission Aviation Fellowship. So I'm left here on my lonesome. And, I don't actually mind it too much. I lived on my own before we were married, and Dave's always had to travel a bit with work. So I've always been sort of used to having a little bit of time on my own in the house. It's not that big a deal to me. But even so, the first couple of nights are always a little bit strange. You roll over in bed and there's no one there. You're all on your own. And actually last night, as I was sat watching some TV on my own, I thought that my eyes were going a little bit strange because it kind of seemed like the room was shaking a little bit. As I looked across, I could see things moving. Turned out there was actually a little earthquake last night here in Kampala. It wasn't a very big one, nothing fell over, nothing too dramatic, but it was strange, and it reminded me of this TV show that I watched as a kid years and years and years ago. It was a Christian show called McGee and Me, and the main character was this kid who was an artist, and he drew this cartoon character McGee who kind of came to life and joined in all of his adventures, all of which of course had a very moral and very Christian element to them. I used to love them. I loved that show. But I can still remember all these years later that there was an episode where this kid and some of his friends, I don't know if they're friends or siblings, but anyway, they ended up in the house on their own, and there was a hurricane, I think, or a tornado, something like that, some massive storm, and it struck the house where they were on their own, and a window broke, a tree branch came through it, and as the kids go about this amazing repair while they're on their own, this song starts to play, and I can still remember the lyrics of it today. It went, "You'll never be alone." That's what I tell myself every night. You're never on your own. Though I know it's true, it's hard to see that there is a light. So there are lots of different types of feeling alone. There is literal aloneness where no one is with you, even though you wish there was. There is that moment where there is no one around and you are on your own. But there's also feeling alone in a situation or a circumstance. You can feel completely alone, even when you are surrounded by a crowd of people. You can feel that the grief or the pain that you are carrying is just so heavy, and it feels like nobody understands what you are going through right now. The fact of the matter is, you may well feel lonely in your life, but you are not alone. God absolutely and unequivocally guarantees in his word that you are not, that you never will be alone. So in Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 8, he says, "Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you." And Psalm 139 says, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. There is nowhere you can go. There is no situation you can face in which you will be on your own. God is with you. He has promised to be with you. So chances are you will feel alone at some point in your life. You may feel that way right now. You may not. But at some point you will feel lonely, but you are not alone. You're not alone in your pain or your fear or your distress or your confusion or whatever it is that you are facing, because God is with you. He will not fail you. He will hold you fast. Whenever you feel lonely, remind yourself of these promises, because it is amazing that God has guaranteed to be with you at all times. He has guaranteed to be with you in all situations. In the words of that 90s classic, McGee and Me, you'll never be alone. Thank you so much for joining me today for that thought from the Bible. I'll be back on Monday with another video, so I will see you then.